Hey guys, greetings of the day, and I just hope that you guys are keeping well and staying safe. My name is Ninad Bhatt from Serpent Consulting Services Private Limited, and a warm welcome to the fourth video of a series wherein we are discussing freights management solution, right? Or a freight ERP, I would say. So, in the last video, I just believe that you have gone through all of our earlier videos in this series sequentially so that you don't miss out on any of the functions and any of the features that we so far have discussed. So, let's go ahead with the fourth video, in which we'll be taking a detailed look inside the shipping operations. All right. So also to tell you one more thing, that to recall you the things that in our last videos we had taken a look at the configuration options available, and we also have entered some of the data inside the master data section over here. And as I said during those videos, that the data that we are entering here and the configurations that we are performing here, it will be coming handy whensoever we'll be working with the shipping operations, right? So that is exactly what we're going to do with this in this video. And let's go ahead and create a new shipping order from here just by clicking on the create button. So as you can see on the form that we are having many of the mandatory fields, because of course shipping operation is at a center point of this solution, and of the all the activities which is being performed when it comes to the logistics, or when it comes to something pertaining to the freight. So we'll be having many things to be entered manually, but no worries. We assume that we have configured a solution in a way that it will not be much time consuming for us to create a shipping order from here. All right, so let's start by entering the direction of our shipping, wherein we are exactly telling our solution that whether we are going to import something from other country or we are going to export it to some other location. Let's go ahead with the export option from here. Let's select our customer. Let's say Gemini Furniture is going to be a customer of ours, customer of Shipwell Logistics. And let's enter some more details pertaining to the transport options. So as we discussed earlier, that practically, of course, we will only be having these three options. So some of the menu items, some of the drop-down list will not allow us to create a new record on the go, but it will be the static drop-down menu, wherein we will simply be, we'll simply need to enter the right information as per the shipping requirements. So I will exactly go ahead with the ocean thing. But prior which I'm going to show you something else. You can notice that by having any of the options from this list selected, we will have some dynamic menu items over here, or we will see some of the changes happening over here. Let's say if I choose to go with ocean, it will be asking for ocean shipping, wherein we'll be having FCL and LCL. If I choose to go with air, it doesn't have any impact over here, but that field at all is not required, and that's why it is appearing, right? So let's say what happens if I choose to go with land. If I choose to go with land, and if I am about to select the land shipping, there'll be two options called FTL and LTL. So I'll explain you that thing as well. See, the FTL is nothing but the full truckload, and the full form of LTL would be less than a truckload, which means if you feel that if you are going to send something via land, and if you feel that the amount of goods that you're sending across will be consuming the whole of the space in a particular vehicle, so in that case we will need to go with a full truckload, and in other way we will simply need to go with the less than a truckload, which is LTL. All right, because that quite depends on the amount of goods that you are sending in, and if you are going to select less than a truckload, the rest of the space can again be utilized and can be used for some other clients, let's say for by our company, or let's say by some other shipping companies. All right, same goes with the ocean. If I select to transport something via an ocean, we will have these options. We'll have these options to select one from, and that is again nothing but a full container load and less than container load. Because when we are transporting something via an ocean, of course, physically the goods will be in some container, and that's why we are counting the space over here. That what amount of space will be occupied by the goods that you are going to send across. So that option will not be available in case of air, because in that case we will have some effect here in this portion of the form. If we select to go with the air option, it can be asking us for the airline that we are going to use to send that particular freight. So fine, I just hope that you guys are clear with that particular concepts, and let's go with the actual option that we are going to work with now. So I'm selecting ocean from here, and if I feel that I think a full container can be occupied by the amount of goods that I'm going to send, I'll be selecting FCL, full container load. The order date will be coming here automatically. Company by default will be Shipwell Logistics, which is our company that we are working with, but still we have an option to select from the various other companies as well, since we have been working inside the multi-company environment, right? But I like to choose to go with Shipwell Logistics from here, and that's why I'm selecting that option from that. Landing port and discharging port, again, these are the fields that we already have configured when we were performing some of the configurations in this particular section. So it's just like a from and to place, where in between the freight will be commuting from and to. So let's say if I believe that the freight will be sent from Mumbai port to Seattle Seaport, USA. Voyage number is I think it will be something by which we can uniquely identify a particular voyage or particular ship. Or let's say if you have an option to select the vessel that we already have configured from configurations and vessel, so we simply can go with that, and we simply can select that what particular vessel, what particular ship is will be there to transport our goods. So let's say cargo voyager will be our ship. If you're working with agents, you have an option to select it from here. That's not much mandatory, I would say. So every time, that's not mandatory practically, that some freight is being processed by some agent and then it comes to you. But yes, if it is like that, you will be able to select an agent from here that already we have configured and entered here in master data and agents. So let's say global couriers are agent. So to go further, we can see that there are some tabs available, and in the order tab, we are exactly going to enter that what kind of shipment is going to be. So prior which we'll be able to select the container from here. Again, that is one more thing that we already have configured from the configuration menu and containers. So exactly, it's nothing but we are telling our system that what size and what type of container that we are going to use in order to transport the goods that we are processing right now. So let's say I don't need any cold storage, but let's say I need a small normal container. Let's say I'm going to transport large cabinets. When it comes to pricing, again, as we have seen in the configuration that we already have configured the pricing list, I mean, how you want to invoice your client. So let's say we have two options over here. Let's go with new pricing list. Then we can enter the gross weight over here, but we will not be able to enter a volume. The reason being, the weight has been selected inside this particular field, which exactly mentions that how we are going to invoice our client. Is it going to be based on weight, or is it going to be based on volume? So if I select, let's say, based on volume, so the weight field will automatically get deactivated, and the volume field will be activated for us to enter some more information there. If I go with weight, then we will be able to enter the information accordingly. So let's say I'm going to invoice my clients based on the volume, and let's say the volume is 60. Let's say we are going to transport 60 large cabinets. Pricing comes over here, and that's completely automatic based on the pricing list we have selected in this particular field. So we are done with that. We can add some more containers over here if you want to, but let's just keep it single in order to understand the concept well. And I think that will help us to understand everything, how it's being processed and how we go further about that, right? So fine, we are done with this particular tab. Let's go inside the further tabs. Let's say accounts. See, that is actually one of the beauty of our solution, that we don't need to use any separate module or any application for the accounting requirements, but we have it integrated with our freight module itself. We are not going to enter anything over here because the information and numbers will be auto-populated based on how we are transacting to with our vendors and with our customers. So accordingly, this number will be coming up here. Also about routes, so that is also something where we don't need to do anything, but it will automatically be showing up when we will process the shipping order further. To mention some more information in this particular tab, we simply can mention the expected send date. It is expected send date. The reason is that we are exporting the goods. Let's say if we were importing the same, the field over here would say that expected receive date. So both are important. If you are receiving the good, it should be in our knowledge that by when exactly we will be, receiving our goods, will be receiving our freight, right? So, but in this particular case, we are going to export something. Let's change it again, and let's mention the expected send date. Party is again nothing but something related to a customer, uh, right? And actual send date we can mention over here if we found that the expected date, it's different from the expected date, then we can mention it over here. But again, it's not a mandatory one, so we can skip it right now. Tracking will be available whensoever we will be processing the shipping order further. Also, we have the same option available here inside the shipping operations and tracking, by which we will be able to track our shipping, that where exactly what's the exact location, and what's the exact status of our shipping, right? So for that, we are having the tracking option available inside shipping operations and tracking. Notes is again something that if you want to put some notes along with your shipping order, then we have an option for that, and we simply can mention something relevant which you feel that will further help us out in the further operations of the freight. All right, so we have, I think, entered all the mandatory details which should get entered in order to process the particular shipping order. We simply will be confirming the order from here. Prior which I will simply be showing you that we are having the stages, over here, which means that once we confirm the shipping, it may have some further changes inside its stages. And also, let us have a sleek look inside the smart buttons available over here: services, invoices, and bills. So, as we discussed about our services, and nothing to be confused with the services exactly that we are going to offer to our customer, it's nothing but the kind of reimbursement that we will need to process, and we'll need to add the same thing to our invoices whenever we will be generating the invoices and sending it across to our clients, because there might have been some of the services taken by our freight people, or the people who are physically there on the ship, on the deck. And let's say have if they have taken some accommodation services from a nearby stay, so let's say from the stay that they have done temporarily. So in such cases, we simply will be able to mention those services here. Again, not to get confused between invoices and bills. Invoices will be something which we will be sending across to our customers, wherein we are expecting the payments, and bills will be something that we will need to pay to our vendors. But again, we have a functionality wherein we will be able to add the amount of bills inside our invoices. So I think that all the things again will be on the customers, right? So let's go ahead and confirm the shipping order, and let's see what happens further. All right, so it throws an error say by saying that small containers volume capacity is zero. You plan more volume than a container capacity. So we will be saving the record from here. It is not allowing us to use this particular container somehow because we have configured that particular container, but it says that the capacity the container is having, I think we are the amount of goods that we have is quite on a higher side than that. So let's go inside. Let's try to configure the containers. Let's go with normal small one which is available to us. And yes, as you can see that the volume is zero here. Let's say, let's make it 200. Let's save the record from here. Close this particular tab because we have we had opened that particular thing in a separate tab, so we can do that. Now let's try to save the record. All right, so as you can see that the record has been saved successfully, and we can confirm the same. So it has got confirmed. By confirming the shipping order, we will be having some more buttons, clickable buttons over here. Let's say to generate invoice, to generate a bill. If you want to get it in progress, we will simply need to do that because just saving a record or just confirming a shipping order will not exactly be starting up the processes. It is currently in a confirmed stage. Let's make it in progress. Making the shipping order in progress, which means that we have commenced and we have started with all the procedures and practically saying that, let's say this is the exact stage wherein we can say that ship is just about to leave the port, right? And let's make it in transit. When ship is starting off, we simply can click on in transit to tell that fact to our system that okay, we are all done with the procedures and the ship can go ahead towards its direction. So let's make it in transit. All right, so there would be some changes inside the form, as you can see. Not yet inside the accounting tab because we haven't done any kind of monetary transactions. We haven't, created any invoices or bills or anything like that. So let's go ahead and try to create an invoice. So we already know what it's going to be, right? This amount should be there on the invoice. But let's say prior which if any of our freight person have taken some kind of services, and if we feel that again that should be paid by our customer, so let's create a service from here. For that, we'll simply need to go inside that particular service section. We can simply mention the kind of services taken by our people during the course of that commute from one particular port to another. So I think now we can assume that a ship has left the Mumbai port and it's on its way to go further, and it's on its way towards reaching its destination now. So might be possible that they have taken a pause at some nearby ports, all right, and they have taken some stay, food, and some accommodation related services from that town or city. So we simply can mention that thing out here. That's a quantity. Let's mention it for 5, or let's mention it for, let's say for 3. Unit of measures. If you want to count it, let's say by days, we can mention that thing out here. Who is going to be our vendor? In such cases, it may be possible that being a logistics company, you will be having your fixed spots, from which your team or your guys will be taking a temporary pause, for some days or let's say for some hours, and would be taking some services from a specific vendor. So in such cases, you should have the vendor configured, you should have the vendor details entered inside the master data, and from there we will simply be able to get it selected. So let's say hotel stay well is one of our vendors. Or let's mention the required things out there so that it will be easy for us to get this particular amount added inside the invoice. We're going to save this record. We're going to get back. So as you can see that it was zero earlier, but now it is showing that there is one service have been created, and we can have a look at that as well. It will be a list of services here on the screen, and we can work with the services like that. So, guys, we can say that our ship has already left. In fact, our staff members had some pause at in between at a nearest seaport somewhere, and they have taken the services. But it's yet. I mean, we are yet to send across an invoice to our client. We haven't received any payments from our client, so let's generate an invoice from here. Or even prior that, if you want to generate a bill, we simply can click on the bill button from here, and as you can see that the bill is now having one record in it. Let's go and let's check what's happening there. We have that one record created, and the bill has been created for the services taken by your members. We can simply get it confirmed from here. Okay, if there would be any mandatory fields missing out, I think system will be throwing us such kind of error messages, and we simply can modify the records. We simply can mention the mandatory details, and we can proceed ahead with the other operations. Let's confirm the same. All right, so it has been confirmed yet. Let's register a payment. Let's create a payment, and it has been paid to our vendor by us as of now, right? So now let's go and check what happens when we generated, since we have generated a bill for one of our service providers, and let's go and check what happens inside the accounts. So as you can see, the bill payables, it has some numbers over here. Earlier, all the fields were zero, but it is showing us in minus because we have paid that particular amount from our pocket because we haven't received anything from our clients yet. For that, what we will need to do is to generate an invoice just by clicking on this button. So let's go ahead and create an invoice from here. And as you can see that in the smart button for the invoice, we can say that there is a record has been created. So let's go inside the invoice. All right. So as I said earlier, that all of the services that your teams, that your members will be taking, let's say, be it some kind of accommodation or food or anything like that, which you believe that should be directly paid or should be indirectly paid by your clients, we can first create that service. We can create the bill for that service, or let's say we can pay it from our pocket for now, but we have an option to get it added automatically inside the invoice. So as you can see that large cabinets, this particular row is something that we are that's one of our services that we are offering to our client, the logistics services, right? And the upper row says that the the record has been automatically added inside the invoice, and that is about the bill that we have generated for the services taken by our teammates. All right, so that's how the total is being counted. We can go ahead and we can confirm the invoice. You can save the record by entering the mandatory details and any of those details which you feel that should be entered, and we can confirm it from here. We can register a payment. The grand total will automatically be populated over here so that you don't need to manually enter the same. We have some other options available in order to select your bank, in order to select some other things pertaining to your payment, and we will be able to create a payment from here to get it finally registered inside our system. All right. So accordingly, we have an option to get it printed, if you want to print it out, or let's say if you want to get a PDF copy generated and send across an email, right? So we have an option for that. Inside the chatter window, we will be having all the history and all the updates so far that has been performed on this particular document, right? So again, I think we will be revisiting the numbers inside the shipping order and inside the accounting tab over here, and that's it, right? So we can see over here on the screen that the total invoiceable item have been successfully invoiced and we have received it, right? The total payable bills have been paid since the invoice have got confirmed, because the amount of bill was there on the invoice, and since the invoice have been confirmed, which means that client has not only paid for the services that for the freight services that we are offering to them, but also for the other expenses which have been done by our teammates during the course of the commute. All right, so that is the beauty of the integrated accounting over here. We don't need to use any other solution, or we don't need to switch between the applications, but it will simply be integrated inside the shipping orders, and it will also help us to save some more time. It saves us a lot of time, right? So like that. To move further, let's also check with some other options and other tabs available, which I said earlier that it will be having the auto-populated values inside that. So routes, since we already have confirmed this particular shipping order and the ship has already left towards its destination, so then the this particular value comes in from that particular action, and we can say that it has the right value inside that. I mean, it has the right values inside this particular fields. So that's all about the routes, from what particular location it is starting off, and which will be the destination of the ship. The transport type and cost and sale, it's as of now it's zero, because we already have confirmed both the things. We have confirmed the bills that we could generate it, and we also have received the payment from the client, and we have confirmed the invoice as well. Same goes with the tracking kind of thing. So as of now, I can say the tracking will not be having any further information over here. But if you want to track your particular shipment, that what's the current status of your shipment, we will simply need to copy the name of the shipment out. That will be the unique code as well to a particular shipment that you are giving in. And let's go inside the shipping operations. Inside the shipping operations, as you can see that we have two options. First one to track the order, and other one is to set shipping date. So that is, I think, not quite that much important to us, because since we already have worked with the shipping order, and a ship itself is in between the commute. So we will simply be able to click on shipping operations, track order, and simply will be able to enter the name of the shipment, and we will be able to track it like this. So it will be showing us all the details, that the source location, destination location, transport carriage, which is going to be ocean in our case, all right, because we have selected the that particular option in that way. And the current status is very much important, because that is the reason that we are having the tracking facility. That what's the current status of your shipment, so that you will easily be able to understand and easily be able to get it from here, from this window. All right, so let's go back inside the shipping, and as you can see on the screen, that we are having a long list of shipping operations that have so far been performed. Uh, Also, I'd like to show you one more thing. Let's say if I talk about our current shipment thing, and we all are aware that we have selected the normal small container. So if you go back inside, let's say if we are trying to create the new record, let me put it that way. If you're trying to create a new record, and if you try to mention that thing out, let's say that again, I just want to use that very container that has already been in use, it will only be showing us the list of available containers. And that's again the beauty, because when a human element comes in, there might be a chances that there will be some more chances to for the human beings to commit some mistakes. Shipping company, the freight company, would be having hundreds and thousands of such containers, so it's very obvious to get confused over there. So we have that cool functionality inside the solution, that it will only be listing down the available containers. So let's also check that what's there inside the list of the containers in configuration and containers. So if I choose to go with cold storage big, it is showing that it's available, which means that we can take it for our further shipping operations. But in case of the container itself that we just have used, it is showing us as reserved in this particular stage section, right? So I think we will need to check it back once we are done with this particular shipping operation. So now let's assume that ship has already reached to its destination, and now we can simply mention it out inside the system that the shipment has already been delivered. So for that, we have a direct option available inside here, inside this particular segment, and let's click on delivered. So once you click on delivered, again, it will have some changes inside the stage of the shipping order as well. It says deliver. We, however, will have an option to cancel it out as well. If you feel that, okay, you have partially, gone ahead and performed some of the task, but in the meantime, if you feel that you need to cancel the things out, so we simply would have an option to cancel the shipment, and in such cases that particular shipping order would be in the cancelled stage. So now again, let's get back to the list of containers, and let's see that a normal small container is now, yes, that is available for the other services now. All right, guys. So I think that is pretty much about this video, and I just hope that I could cover all the things that you were looking for. And let's go ahead with the last and the fifth video further to take care and to look inside some more options available pertaining to the reporting and some other things out there. Thank you very much for joining in this video. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click on that bell icon so that you don't miss out on any further updates from us. Thank you very much and have a nice day, guys. Thank you.